Hi, I'm Dr. Elliot Adam from ElliotOracle.com. I'm also the author of Fearless Tarot and Tarot in Love, Consulting the Cards in Matters of the Heart. And both are out now from Llewellyn Books and are available wherever books are sold online. So if you like my approach to tarot, you're really going to get a lot out of these books. So let's go into this week's Oracle reveal. So earlier today on Instagram, I placed up a photo of three different animals, and I asked you to use your intuition and just ask yourself which animal's calling to you, because that animal has your message. And the animals were the seagull, the manatee, and the humpback whale. So if you're just joining me now, ask yourself which animal seems to be pulling on your unconscious intuition, because that animal has your message. So, for those of you who picked the seagull, the card says now is the time for deep emotional healing. And I feel for Seagull this next week, it might be a time where you're just kind of soaring over your emotions. You're really taking stock of them. Emotions are complicated. They're not usually like all this or all that. They're usually a soup of different things that are going on at any given moment. And this might be a time where you're splitting hairs or even trying to understand some different complex emotions that might be in conflict with one another right now. And Seagull's teaching you to release those emotions. Don't bottle them up. That's going to be the way to really go through this cleansing or healing process. First card is where it's best for you to place your focus this next week. And we have the 5 of Cups. And this is a very emotional card. Cups cards in the tarot, they have to do with the element of water. And in the case of the 5 of Cups, it sometimes has to do with dealing with an emotional disappointment, something that doesn't go quite according to plan, or something that just makes you feel sad. The 5 of Cups does show 2 cups or 3 cups that are upside down, but 2 cups that are still standing. And what this can symbolize is that mixed with your losses are also some gains. Mixed with some challenges or difficulties right now emotionally for you are also some opportunities. And even the things that are working adversely in your life right now that are challenging you to the core are also going to be somehow repurposed into something that's going to make you better, stronger, or more empowered moving forward. And so 5 of Cups is telling you not to get in the trance of negative thinking or all or nothing thinking, where you're saying, well, because there's these 3 upside down cups, then everything's just gone to hell in a handbasket. The 5 of Cups tells you to look at the nuance in the situation and to look at those things that are still working in your life. That's where your power is flowing. And when you place your attention on that area of your life, you're going to see the way past the biggest challenges for you right now. However, it might be a time to surrender some of those senses of loss. We also have advice from your inner wisdom, which is the 9 of Cups. And along with that seagull message of this being a time of deep emotional healing, 9 of Cups is the wish card. It's a card of setting your intentions. And in this deck, the Pagan Other Worlds Tarot, there's also a little frog in the front. And frog is a symbol for cleansing, the cleansing that happens through the rains, the cleansing that also happens through our tears. And I'm just feeling that for Seagull this next week, this might be a time when you're really cleansing out your hurt, your disappointment, you're letting that flow. You might even need just a good cry. And why you need to do that is to make room for all the wonderful things that are still ahead for you. The 9 of Cups is a card of pleasure and abundance and plenty. And I feel like no matter how you're feeling about where your life is going right now or what you might be dealing with emotionally, that 9 of Cups is saying the advice from your inner wisdom is that there's still better days ahead and that there is a need to really set your intentions for the kind of life that you want. And to be able to receive that, you may have to let go of some of the disappointments or loss or even feelings that you might have been carrying with you for quite some time. And the mythic archetype that's going to help you with this is Prometheus. And he's a Greek archetype of looking ahead. His name Prometheus, pro meaning forward, and Metheus meaning wisdom, is like you need to look ahead. You need to have foresight of what's coming. And that means having an eye in the big picture and not getting lost in the sea of your emotions and how things feel in this moment, but instead looking at that big picture. Prometheus is also about making certain sacrifices in order to allow for the best result to happen for all. And so this might be a time when you're really reevaluating, what am I really focused on? Is this working for me? And maybe it's time to release some things that are making my emotions feel heavy. Next, we're going to go into the manatee animal. And this card says, accept the situation as it is rather than fighting to change it. And manatee is that gentle giant that's under the waves, and it just goes with the flow. Manatee is saying that things are happening on the course that they're on as they're meant to. And instead of like gearing up for battle every day and getting tense and wanting to fight everything as it is, manatee is saying, let it go, let it be, let it happen. That which is meant to be will be. And as much as you might try to control this at this time, you don't have control. It's time to really surrender to the natural element of water this next week and really just let that kind of sweep away whatever's keeping you stuck in the mud. First card for Manatee is where it's best for you to place your focus. And here we see this Nine of Swords from the Pagan Other Worlds Tarot, which is kind of an interesting take on it. Here we see the swan that's leashed and collared. And this is an old symbol for loyalty, but also feeling committed to something, chained. And when I look at swan, it's a symbol of transformation, turning from the ugly duckling into the beautiful swan. And yet there's these obligations that are chaining the swan at this time that may make the swan feel like there isn't an opportunity, there isn't a lot that the swan can do. Nine of Swords, like all swords cards, has to do with that element of air, which is your thoughts. And so this could be a time when you're really monitoring your thoughts and not allowing yourself to get stuck in the thought that you're trapped or that you can't change. Next, we got advice from your inner wisdom, and we get the Star card, which is always the card of hope and transcendence. And I just feel like it's time to tap into your inner wisdom. Much like the cleansing waters of the Star card, it's time to pour those waters back into the deepest, wisest part of you. And this is going to help you find the way out of the leash, the thing that makes you feel trapped. And the mythic archetype that's going to help you is Heracles or Hercules. He's the archetype of strength. And he's saying you're stronger than you think you are. Watch out for mental traps this next week where you're feeling like, oh no, I can't do it, or I'm really obligated, or no, there's no way I can do anything for myself. These cards are saying take power, break the chains, and really stand up for yourself, because this is going to be a week where you really want to take action. You want to really go toward your own sense of hope and transcendence. And then finally, we got the humpback whale. And this card says music is essential to your healing and well being, whether it's singing, playing an instrument, or listening. And humpback whale is a singer in the oceans. This could be a week where you really do want to expose yourself to different sorts of music that can elevate your mood. If you're feeling like you're in a funk, put on your favorite music or shift that energy by putting something more cheerful on. First card for the whale is where it's best for you to place your focus. And here we got the strength card. Similar to our last animal archetype, the strength card is telling you that you're stronger than you think you are. And the woman on the strength card is taming the beast, which represents the thing that feels out of control in your life. And I just feel like for the whale, even with music, even with shifting your mood or your energy, I feel like you will have the strength to handle what's in front of you, but you got to fix your mood. You need to shift it. And maybe you need to put on some music or put an environment around you or put yourself in an environment where you're starting to feel supported, nurtured, cared for. This is really going to help you feel reacquainted with that strength. Advice from your inner wisdom this next week is the Four of Wands, which is the card of celebration, happiness. It's also the party card. And so I feel for the whale, too, this might be a great time to dance. It might be a time to really put your emotions into your body and really transmute what's going on emotionally through your feet, through rhythm. I think that's going to be so important. It could also just be a time to socialize and find strength in numbers. And then we got the mythic archetype that's going to help you if you pick the whale, and we get another seafarer, Odysseus, who spends 20 years navigating the oceans to find his way home. And what he's a symbol for is our journey to navigate through the oceans of our own emotions, our feelings, and find our way home to what's strongest, to what's best in us, to what our higher self is really all about. I feel for all three animals this week, this is going to be a time of deep emotional cleansing and healing. And you want to pay attention to your emotions and what's going on there, but you also want to make sure that you're not getting stuck in them. And that is this week's Oracle. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can schedule a one on one tarot session with yours truly at elliotoracle.com. I also have signed books available, and I hope you do check that out. And otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I'll see you again here next time. So do take care.